YouTube, it's me, Spotty. Hope you're all doing great. Welcome to another weekly Human Topicals. The first thing that I want to address before we get into some questions is the average that you're seeing in the background. There's nothing really special about the average, except that the cube I'm using is the Volk M. So it's a magnetized Volk, not one done by the Cubicle, but one that I did myself. So there are a couple tutorials online on how to do this, but the one I watch is from Speedcube Review. I'll link it down in the description if you want to do one yourself. But it's really easy and the magnets aren't that expensive as well. So they cost about $2 in Australia and they're the N35 magnets. So the weakest ones from 35 to 50. Some people were saying that the N35 magnets might be a little bit too weak for the Volk, but I found that it's pretty strong. You can definitely feel it and it does increase stability, which is what they were put in for. One other thing that I've noticed with the magnetic cube though is that it's not sluggish, but it's definitely slower. So there's more resistance to each turn, which is not necessarily a good or bad thing, but it's just something I'll have to get used to because the original Volk was a really light cube, which is something that really grew on me. So I'd really come to enjoy that feeling. I'll probably be getting another Volk at Sydney Championships if I can. And if I do that, then I'll probably make a comparison of the two cubes. But yeah, enough about the Volk M, let's get into some questions. Oh, and one more thing, congrats to Felix who broke the world record a couple days back. If you hadn't heard, he broke it by 100th or 1,000th of a second, I think, which is pretty cool, but Matt's was sitting right next to him, which kind of sucks for him. But yeah, congrats to Felix. Alright, so the first couple questions come from two people, the first being Two Shot Reg, and the second person, Pi Diandy? I'm not actually sure how you pronounce that, sorry if I butchered your name. But they're all about cubing in public. So, is it okay to cube in public? Do you cube in public? And do you do it regularly? Do you think some people find it annoying? And what kind of reactions do I get? So starting off with, is it okay? Yeah, definitely. It's not like illegal or anything, as long as you're considerate of others, which kind of links into, do you think some people find it annoying? If you're solving a really loud cube in a fairly enclosed place, I guess, then yeah, it could be annoying, so probably steer away from doing that. But if you're just cubing to practice or whatever, and it's not really bothering anyone else, then yeah, I don't see what the problem is. As for do I cube in public and do I do it regularly? Not really. I don't really like to cube in public, and that's because of the reactions that I get. Some people have positive reactions like encouragement or just curiosity, but also a whole other bunch of people just stare at you weirdly, and it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it's just kind of annoying, so I don't normally cube in public unless I'm like really bored, or if I feel a need to, I guess. So, for example, I was on a plane trip and I brought my 5x5, the Bochuang, which is a relatively quiet cube, so I could cube on the plane so that I had something to do. But yeah, the next question comes from Dynamic Cuber, and he just asked to talk about sponsorships and about Felix. So that's pretty vague, but I think you're just talking about the GAN sponsorship that Felix got. I think that's a pretty interesting topic, and I'll just go over it briefly, the main things that I think. Firstly, I think it's really great for Felix because, you know, he gets to travel places that he probably wouldn't be able to travel without the sponsorship, so go to competitions around the world, stuff like that. So it's really great for Felix. It's also good for GANs because, you know, they get a name that backs up their cube, which is a good marketing thing for them. It doesn't really affect us that much, other than the fact that Felix now sponsors GAN, so he is a very renowned cuber, and I think a lot of people will look up to him because, you know, he has the world record now especially, so they might look at him and to see what cube they should get, especially newer cubers. So I'm not saying that Felix is gonna lie to us or anything like that, but just like take what he says with a grain of salt because he is sponsored by them, so, you know, it's kind of like his job to like promote their product and sell it basically. Okay, the last question that we've got today comes from Winter Cuba, and he asks, are minxes gaining popularity and will other minxes be added to the WCA as an event? So this was a pretty old question when the Killer Minx just came out, and people were talking about how that should be a new WCA event. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be an official event anytime soon, and if it is, then it might take a little while to actually be implemented into the WCA. But yes, I do think minxes are gaining popularity, and it'd be cool to see new events, but I don't think that they're going to be added soon. Anyway, that's all the questions we can answer today, but if you did like this video, feel free to smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to be notified of future content. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.